I've always believed in the power of faith, but life has a way of testing what you think you know. My name is Joana, and this is the story of how I walked closer with God and how He guided me through the darkest and brightest days of my life. It all started during what I thought was the happiest time of my life. I had just been promoted at work, a promotion that I had been dreaming of for years. Everything seemed perfect, my career was thriving, my relationships were strong, and I felt on top of the world. I would wake up every morning with a heart full of gratitude, praising God for the daily blessings that I believed were a direct result of my positive mindset. Life was good, and I was living in a state of joy and peace, thinking that nothing could go wrong. But as life often does, things took an unexpected turn. Just as I was getting comfortable with my success, I received news that shattered my world. My mother, who had been my rock and source of spiritual growth, was diagnosed with a severe illness. The doctors were not optimistic, and suddenly, the happiness I had been basking in felt so distant. I was overwhelmed with fear, anxiety, and a sense of hopelessness that I had never experienced before. The days that followed were a blur of hospital visits, sleepless nights, and countless prayers. I prayed for a miracle, for divine guidance, and for the strength to keep going. I knew that I had to remain strong for my mother, but inside, I was crumbling. Every night, I would sit by her bedside, holding her hand, and silently plead with God to heal her. The fear of losing her was paralyzing, and I felt like I was drowning in a sea of despair. But even in those moments of darkness, there was a tiny spark of hope that kept me going, a hope that God was listening, that He was with us, and that somehow, we would get through this. It wasn't long before that hope began to grow. One day, as I was sitting in the hospital chapel, trying to find some peace, I felt something shift within me. It was as if a warm, calming presence had enveloped me, whispering words of comfort into my soul. I realized then that I wasn't alone, that God was right there with me, guiding me through this storm. I felt a renewed sense of faith, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. It was in that moment of self-reflection that I understood what I needed to do. I needed to walk closer with God, to trust in His plan, and to find peace in the midst of the chaos. From that day on, I made a conscious effort to focus on the positive, to cultivate a mindset of gratitude, and to find joy in the little things. I started each day with affirmations, reminding myself of the inner strength that God had given me. I prayed more, not just for my mother's healing, but for spiritual growth, for forgiveness, and for the ability to accept whatever outcome God had in store for us. My faith became my anchor, and I found myself growing closer to God with each passing day. Miraculously, my mother began to show signs of improvement. The doctors were baffled by her progress, calling it nothing short of a miracle. And while her recovery was slow, it was steady, and for that, I was endlessly grateful. Through this experience, I learned the power of faith, hope, and divine guidance. I learned that even in the darkest moments, God is with us, guiding us toward the light, if only we choose to walk closer with Him. But this was just the beginning of my journey. Little did I know that this trial was only the first step in a path that would lead me to a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with God, a path that would forever change the way I viewed my life, my faith, and the world around me. As my mother's health improved, so did my sense of purpose. I began to realize that this ordeal wasn't just a test of my faith, but a calling, a divine invitation to walk closer with God. The joy I felt from my mother's recovery was immense, but it was different from the happiness I'd experienced before. This was a deep, abiding joy rooted in faith, gratitude, and a profound sense of peace that came from knowing that God had been with us every step of the way. I started to make changes in my life. The career that once defined me no longer held the same importance. I still valued my work, but I no longer saw it as the center of my existence. Instead, I focused on cultivating my spiritual life. I began attending church more regularly, participating in community outreach, and spending more time in prayer and meditation. Each day, I sought out opportunities for spiritual growth, looking for ways to deepen my connection with God and to align my life more closely with His will. One Sunday, after a particularly moving sermon about the power of faith during trials, I felt a nudge in my heart, a gentle prompting to do more. I didn't know what it was at first, but as I prayed for guidance, the answer became clear. I was being called to share my story, to offer hope and inspiration to others who might be going through similar struggles. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. I wasn't sure if I was ready, but I knew that this was something I had to do. I began by speaking to small groups at my church, sharing how God had guided me through one of the most challenging times of my life. I talked about the importance of maintaining a positive mindset, even when things seem hopeless, and the power of gratitude in transforming our perspective. As I spoke, I could see the impact my words were having. People were nodding, smiling, some even had tears in their eyes. It was clear that my story resonated with them, that they found comfort and strength in knowing that they weren't alone in their struggles. Encouraged by this response, I started writing about my experiences. I penned articles for the church newsletter, wrote blog posts, and even began working on a book. The more I shared, the more I felt a sense of fulfillment and joy. It was as if God had given me a new purpose, a mission to spread His message of hope, faith, and love to as many people as possible. And in doing so, I found myself growing closer to Him every day. But just as I was settling into this new chapter of my life, another challenge arose, one that would test everything I had learned and push me to rely on my faith in ways I never had before. It came in the form of an unexpected financial crisis, one that threatened to undo all the progress I had made and plunge me back into a state of fear and uncertainty. At first, the news hit me like a ton of bricks. The company I worked for was downsizing, and my position was being eliminated. Just like that, the steady income one had relied on was gone. Panic set in as I thought about the bills, the mortgage, and the responsibilities I had. I wondered how I would get through this, and for a brief moment, I felt that old familiar sense of hopelessness creeping back in. But then, I remembered what I had learned during my mother's illness, that God is with us in every situation, guiding us even when the path seems unclear. I took a deep breath, prayed for divine guidance, and decided to trust that God had a plan, even if I couldn't see it at the moment. I reminded myself of the affirmations I had been practicing, focusing on the positive, and believing that something good would come out of this challenge. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. Through a series of unexpected opportunities and the kindness of friends and strangers, I was able to navigate the financial storm without losing my home or falling into debt. Each day brought new blessings, and I began to see this crisis not as a setback, but as a stepping stone, another opportunity to grow in faith, to trust God more deeply, and to witness His provision in ways I never had before. As the months passed, my life began to feel like a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of faith, hope, and gratitude. Each day, I woke up with a heart full of positivity, eager to embrace the daily blessings that God bestowed upon me. My morning started with mindfulness meditation, allowing me to center myself and connect with His divine guidance. The peace I felt during these moments set the tone for the rest of my day, infusing every task with a sense of purpose and joy. One sunny Saturday, I decided to visit the local community center in my neighborhood of Maplewood. It was a place that had always held a special place in my heart, a hub of good energy and fellowship. As I walked through the familiar doors, I was greeted by Mrs. Thompson, the friendly director who always had a warm smile and a kind word. Joanna, it's wonderful to see you, she exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with genuine happiness. Good morning, Mrs. Thompson, I replied with a smile. I thought I'd drop by to see how things are going here. We're doing great. We just launched a new program focused on spiritual growth and community support, she explained. We'd love for you to get involved. Your story has been such an inspiration to so many. Her words filled me with a sense of motivation and inspiration. I had always wanted to give back, to use my experiences to help others find their own path to peace and well-being. I'd love to help, I said, feeling a surge of joy. I believe sharing our journeys can truly make a difference. Over the next few weeks, I became actively involved in the community center's programs. I led small group discussions where we shared our struggles and triumphs, supporting one another through prayer and affirmation. These sessions became a cornerstone of my spiritual growth, fostering a deep sense of connection and serenity among the participants. Each story shared was a testament to the power of faith and the strength that comes from walking closer with God. One evening, as we gathered for our weekly meeting, a new face appeared in the doorway. It was Michael, a young man who had recently moved to Maplewood and seemed hesitant to join. Mrs. Thompson introduced him, and he took a seat quietly, avoiding eye contact. Sensing his discomfort, I approached him with a warm smile. Hi, Michael. Welcome. I'm Joanna. Please, feel free to share if you'd like. He looked up, his eyes filled with a mix of uncertainty and hope. Thanks, Joanna. I've been going through a tough time recently, lost my job and my sense of direction. I heard about your group and thought maybe I could find some peace here. As he began to open up, sharing his fears and frustrations, I felt a deep sense of compassion and empathy. I listened attentively, offering words of encouragement and reminding him of the daily blessings that often go unnoticed. Sometimes, in our darkest moments, it's when God is closest to us, I said gently. Let's pray together and seek His guidance. The room filled with a collective sense of calm as we prayed, and I could see Michael's tension begin to ease. It was a powerful reminder of the impact we can have when we come together in faith and support. That night, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the community we had built and the lives we were touching. Meanwhile, my personal life was also blossoming in unexpected ways. My relationship with my partner, David, grew stronger as we navigated these changes together. We spent more time in self-reflection, discussing our dreams and aspirations, and supporting each other's spiritual journeys. Our home was filled with laughter, love, and the comforting presence of God's peace. One afternoon, while walking through Central Park, David and I stumbled upon a small group of people singing hymns and sharing stories of faith. Intrigued, we joined them, and I felt an immediate sense of belonging. It was as if God had led us there, guiding us to new friendships and opportunities for spiritual enrichment. The music uplifted our spirits, and the heartfelt conversations deepened our understanding of divine guidance. As autumn turned to winter, the community center faced its own set of challenges. Funding became scarce, and there were talks of scaling back some of our beloved programs. Determined to keep the momentum going, I organized a fundraising event, rallying the community with enthusiasm and a positive mindset. We held a charity concert at the local church, featuring performances from our group members and local artists. The response was overwhelming. People from all walks of life came together, inspired by the stories of faith and resilience we had shared. The event was a testament to the power of unity and the miracles that can happen when we trust in God's plan. Not only did we raise the necessary funds, but we also strengthened the bonds within our community, proving that with faith and determination, we could overcome any obstacle. Through these experiences, I realized that my journey was far from over. Each day brought new opportunities for spiritual growth, for spreading hope and joy, and for deepening my connection with God. The challenges I faced only served to strengthen my faith, reminding me that with every step closer to Him, He was there to guide me, providing peace and serenity in every aspect of my life. But just as I was settling into this rhythm of life filled with purpose and divine guidance, an unexpected invitation arrived that would take my faith journey to new heights and test the very foundation of my beliefs. As winter settled into the town of Maplewood, I found myself embracing the quiet beauty of the season. The crisp air, the gentle fall of snowflakes, and the serene stillness of the landscape all seemed to echo the peace I felt within. My days were filled with gratitude and mindfulness, each moment a reminder of the spiritual growth I had experienced over the past year. Life was calm, joyful, and deeply fulfilling. One evening, as I sat by the fireplace, sipping a cup of tea, I received a phone call that would unexpectedly shift the course of my journey. It was from an old friend, Maria, whom I hadn't spoken to in years. We had grown up together in a small town in Brazil, but life had taken us on different paths, and we had lost touch over time. Hearing her voice brought back a flood of memories, both happy and bittersweet. "Joanna, it's so good to hear your voice," Maria said, her tone warm but tinged with a hint of urgency. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately and felt compelled to reach out. How have you been?" "I'm doing well, Maria," I replied, smiling as I leaned back into the comfort of my chair. "Life has been full of blessings, and I've found a lot of peace here in Maplewood. How about you?" Maria hesitated for a moment before responding. I've been struggling, Joanna. Things haven't been easy lately. I've been feeling lost, unsure of my purpose, and I guess I just needed to talk to someone who understands." Her words struck a chord within me. I could sense the depth of her pain, and it reminded me of the difficult moments I had faced not so long ago. "Maria, I'm so sorry to hear that. But I believe that everything happens for a reason, and maybe reconnecting with you now is part of God's plan. You don't have to go through this alone." We spent the next hour talking, with Maria opening up about her struggles. She had recently gone through a painful divorce, lost her job, and was grappling with feelings of loneliness and despair. Life in Sao Paulo had become overwhelming, and she felt disconnected from the faith that had once been her guiding light. Listening to Maria, I felt a deep sense of compassion and an overwhelming desire to help her find the same peace and joy that I had discovered. "Maria, why don't you come visit me in Maplewood?" I suggested. "It might be just what you need, a change of scenery, some time to reflect, and an opportunity to reconnect with God. We could spend time together, and I could introduce you to the wonderful community here." There was a pause on the other end of the line as Maria considered my offer. "I don't know, Joanna. It's a big step, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for it." "I understand," I said gently. "But sometimes, stepping out of our comfort zone is exactly what we need to find clarity and healing. Just think about it, okay?" After we ended the call, I prayed for Maria, asking God to guide her and give her the strength to make the right decision. Over the next few days, I kept her in my thoughts, hoping that she would find the courage to take that leap of faith. A week later, Maria called me back, her voice filled with a mix of uncertainty and determination. "Joanna, I've decided to come. I'll be arriving next weekend." Her decision filled me with joy and gratitude. I knew that this was the beginning of a new chapter in both of our lives, one that would bring us closer to each other and to God. I began preparing for her arrival, eager to share the daily blessings and spiritual growth that had transformed my life. When Maria arrived in Maplewood, she was greeted by the same crisp winter air and peaceful surroundings that had welcomed me when I first arrived. I could see the weariness in her eyes, but there was also a glimmer of hope, a small spark that I knew could grow into a bright flame with time and guidance. We spent the first few days exploring the town, visiting the local parks, and attending services at the community church. Maria was hesitant at first, but gradually, she began to open up, finding comfort in the simplicity and warmth of the community. Each day, we took time to reflect, pray, and express gratitude for the small moments of joy and peace that we experienced. One evening, as we sat by the fire, Maria turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Joanna, I can't thank you enough for inviting me here. I feel like I'm starting to rediscover a part of myself that I thought was lost. The peace I've found here, it's like nothing I've felt in a long time." Her words filled me with a deep sense of satisfaction. "Maria, I'm so glad to hear that. God works in mysterious ways, and I believe that this is just the beginning of a new journey for you. Walking closer with Him will bring even more blessings and joy into your life." As the days turned into weeks, Maria's transformation became more apparent. She found motivation and inspiration in the simple routines of daily life, morning prayers, afternoon walks, and evenings filled with self-reflection and spiritual growth. Her faith grew stronger, and she began to see the positive side of her struggles, understanding that they had led her to this moment of peace and renewal. One Sunday, as we sat in the front pew of the church, listening to a sermon on divine guidance, Maria leaned over and whispered, "Joanna, I think I'm ready to make a fresh start. I want to live my life with a positive mindset, embracing the blessings that come my way and trusting in God's plan." Tears welled up in my eyes as I squeezed her hand. "That's wonderful, Maria. Remember, God is always with you, guiding you and giving you the strength to overcome any challenge. Keep walking closer with Him, and you'll find the peace and joy you've been searching for." As winter slowly gave way to spring, Maria's journey of spiritual growth continued. She decided to stay in Maplewood for a while longer, immersing herself in the community and deepening her relationship with God. Together, we created new routines, filled with daily affirmations, moments of gratitude, and the joy of discovering life's simple pleasures. But just as Maria was beginning to feel truly at peace, a surprising turn of events would challenge her newfound faith and test the strength of the bond we had forged.
Dear listener, as you journey through life, there may be times when the weight of your struggles feels too heavy to bear. Perhaps you are facing challenges that seem insurmountable, or maybe you find yourself questioning your path and the purpose behind your pain. If you are going through a difficult time, I want you to know that you are not alone. Have you taken a moment to reflect on what you truly need? Have you reached out for support from those who care about you, or sought comfort in your faith? Life's challenges can sometimes cloud our vision, making it hard to see the blessings that are just around the corner. But remember, like Joanna in our story, you have the strength within you to overcome these trials. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others and to seek guidance from a higher power. Don't give up on your happiness. You deserve joy, peace, and fulfillment, and with faith, you can find your way back to a place of light and hope. Take a moment today to reflect on your journey. What is holding you back? What steps can you take to move forward, even if they are small? Remember that every day is a new opportunity to walk closer with God, to embrace His guidance, and to find the strength you need to continue fighting for your happiness. You are not alone in this journey. Keep moving forward with faith, hope, and love. Reflection on the story. Joanna's journey in the story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of faith and the resilience of the human spirit. Her story reminds us that even in the midst of life's greatest challenges, there is always a path to peace, joy, and fulfillment if we are willing to seek it out. In the beginning, Joanna was content with her life, but when difficulties arose, she was faced with a choice: to succumb to despair or to turn towards faith. The challenges she faced were not easy, and at times, she felt lost and overwhelmed. Yet, it was in those moments of darkness that she discovered a deeper connection to God, a connection that brought her comfort, strength, and ultimately, happiness. This story invites us to reflect on our own lives. How do we respond when we face hardships? Do we allow them to consume us, or do we seek out the light that can guide us through? In the Bible, we are reminded of God's unwavering presence in our lives, even during our darkest moments. Psalm 34 verses 17 to 18 says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Joanna's journey also highlights the importance of community and support in times of need. When Maria reached out to her, she was reminded of the value of connection, of having someone to lean on and share her burdens with. In Galatians 6 verse 2, we are called to carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. This passage emphasizes the significance of being there for one another, of offering a helping hand and a listening ear to those who are struggling. As Joanna and Maria reconnected, they found strength in each other and in their shared faith. They discovered that by walking closer with God, they could navigate life's challenges with a positive mindset, embracing the daily blessings that surrounded them. This is a powerful reminder that no matter what we are going through, we can find hope and inspiration in our faith, in our community, and in the simple, yet profound, moments of everyday life. In James 1 verses 2 to 4, we are encouraged to consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. This passage reminds us that our struggles are not without purpose. They are opportunities for growth, for deepening our faith, and for becoming more resilient. Joanna's story is a beautiful illustration of this truth. She faced her trials with courage, embraced her faith, and found peace and joy on the other side. Her journey reminds us that with faith, hope, and perseverance, we too can overcome the challenges in our lives and find our way to a place of light and happiness. As you reflect on this story, I encourage you to consider your own journey. Are there areas in your life where you need to lean more into your faith? Are there people around you who could use your support? Take a moment to pray, to seek God's guidance, and to trust that He is walking with you every step of the way. No matter what you are going through, remember that God's love is always present, and His light can guide you through even the darkest of times. May this reflection bring you comfort, inspiration, and a renewed sense of hope as you continue on your journey.
Heavenly Father, I come before you today with a heart full of gratitude and faith, seeking your divine guidance and strength. Just as you walked with Joanna through her trials and triumphs, I ask that you walk with me through every step of my journey. Lord, I know that life's path can sometimes be difficult, filled with challenges and uncertainties. But I trust in your promise, as you have said in Isaiah 41 verse 10, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Father, when I face moments of darkness and doubt, remind me of your presence. Help me to feel your comforting embrace and to hear your gentle whisper, guiding me back to the light. Like Joanna, who found peace and joy through her connection with you, I ask that you fill my heart with the same serenity and strength. Let my faith be my anchor in the storm, grounding me in your love and grace. Lord, I lift up to you all my worries, fears, and burdens. I lay them at your feet, trusting that you will carry them for me. As you have said in Matthew 11 verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." May your words be a balm to my soul, bringing me the peace that surpasses all understanding. Let me find rest in your presence, knowing that you are in control, and that you have a plan for my life. In times of trial, remind me to lean on my faith and to seek your wisdom. Guide my steps, Lord, so that I may walk in your light and follow the path you have set before me. As it is written in Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Help me to trust in your timing, even when I cannot see the full picture. Give me the strength to persevere, knowing that you are working all things for my good. Father, I pray for the courage to keep moving forward, even when the road is tough. Let my spirit be filled with hope, and my heart be filled with joy, as I walk closer with you each day. May I always remember the blessings that surround me, and the love that sustains me. Like Joanna, may I find my joy in you, and may that joy be my strength, as it says in Nehemiah 8 verse 10, "Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength." Lord, I ask for your blessing upon my life, and the lives of those I hold dear. May we all draw closer to you, finding peace in your presence and strength in your love. Help us to be a light to others, sharing your love and grace with those who are struggling. Let our lives be a testimony of your goodness and faithfulness, bringing glory to your name. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Shrine of Lightness, and turn on notifications to keep receiving inspiring stories of faith. Together, let's open our hearts to the divine and witness the restoration comes from trusting in God.